Konnichiwa, Andrew des. Kyo wa aiteimasu. To be a little bit embarrassed recording this while people might be walking past. Now, firstly, I probably appear upside down to you at the moment. I feel perfectly normal, but let's just do this. So it looks a bit more normal to people watching the video. Now, firstly, just be aware there might be people walking past here. I am out in public. Whitset, however, will not be appearing in this video, as we couldn't come to an agreement as to whether he was going to get final editing rights for it. So guaranteed, no Whitset in this video. So where am I and what am I doing? Well, firstly, a channel update. The last few nights I've been woken up in the middle of the night by the flying spaghetti monster, and it's told me to do a couple of things with my channel. The first thing it told me is that I should pull all the wrenches from my channel. Tough decision to do, and so indeed anyone who has ever had a wrench on this channel has had it removed. Now, given that I have no wrenches on this channel, nothing has really changed. So PJ, don't take it personally. And the second thing the flying spaghetti monster told me is that I should change the focus of my channel. Instead of focusing on debunking flat earthers, it said that I should then change my channel to be focusing on debunking biblical cosmologists. And as Flatside says, biblical cosmology is flat earth. So again, nothing has changed on my channel. So why was I upside down? Well, some of you may have already guessed that I am indeed in the Northern Hemisphere. Why am I in the Northern Hemisphere? Well, no doubt you have heard all the stories about how the Northern Hemisphere on the globe is just a mirror of the Southern Hemisphere. But frankly, I had to come out and check for myself, because we all know that despite there being literally billions of videos out there of the Northern Hemisphere and how it appears, videos can be faked. Therefore, we can't trust any one of them. Now, what about personal testimony? Well, at any one time, there is seemingly a permanent population of the Northern Hemisphere of somewhere of only just a little over 7 billion people, and perhaps many millions more in their supposed summertime. Now, the problem is that with such a small number of people, every single one of them has either worked for the government, currently works for the government, have got family or friends that work or have worked for the government, or live in an area that's controlled by a government. So with so few people in the Northern Hemisphere, it is trivially easy to convince them all to lie about what they're looking at. So that can't be trusted either. So the only thing I could do to truly find out the nature of our realm was to visit the Northern Hemisphere for myself. And just like Antarctica, it's true that you cannot freely and independently explore the Northern Hemisphere. First, let's talk about how I got here. Now, I had heard that you can take a boat, or you can ski, or you can walk to the Northern Hemisphere. These seemed a little bit impractical, because I looked around and I found a better option, which many of you may not have even heard about. It's an organisation called an airline, and they fly aircraft to the Northern Hemisphere. So now, I wasn't doing this independently, I was doing it through a commercial organisation, and I was doing it with about another 300 or so people on board this aircraft. Some new technology you may have heard about. So not independent at all. Now, freely, well, in terms of money, free, definitely not. I had to pay them money to come on their aircraft. And in terms of freely in terms of movement, not as well. They told me, as much as I argued against them, they told me that once they got their aircraft into the air, they were only allowed to land it at certain locations that they call airports. So we can't independently just decide to land wherever we like. So not free, not independent. Now, in terms of cost, I'd like to thank everyone who's donated to the GoFundMe to get me here. Your contribution of $0 helped me in absolutely no way. But I still managed to get here on my own dime. Now, much like ALE and going to Antarctica, it is quite a task to get here. Not only did I have to pay the airline some money, but I had to provide them with information about my name and my passport, and where I landed in here to this airport, I had to tell them where I was coming from and where I was staying. So yes, Big Brother is watching me the entire time to make sure that I don't uncover any secrets that they don't want to let out. And indeed, there was a bit of paperwork. I had to fill out a piece of paper, and I had to give them my fingerprints, and they had to issue me a visa. Very onerous task indeed. All in all, it took me most of the day to get here. And so I can empathise with the likes of Scott and Roald Amundsen and their trek to the South Pole that took them months, and Scott's party, who I believe all died on the way back. Me, I took all day to get here. It was quite an arduous trek. And so with those $0 to my GoFundMe, I wasn't able to afford the Starlink. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do the 24-hour live stream that I'd promised you. I do hope you'll forgive me on that. I was unaware of the, I believe that the telecommunications situation where I am here was pretty dire. And in fact, I have checked it out, and at some stages I was only getting about 40 megabits per second upload speed, or as Flatsoid calls it, 40 megabyte seconds of upload. But thankfully I've been here for about 17 hours, and someone gave me the Wi-Fi password, and I was able to get at times 85 megabyte seconds of data. So clearly not enough to do a live stream on Rumble. I'm so sorry about that. Please forgive me again. Right, now talking about GoFundMes, Roger's GoFundMe has reached an astounding $536 out of his target of $4,500, which is almost enough for his $5,000 deposit to ALE, which is still only a deposit on the about $40,000 he's going to need for his entire trip. So please dig deep and support Roger for his second final experiment to Antarctica to keep it honest across the board. And in recent days, I've also learnt that Run Boston Bear is attempting to go and run the Antarctic Ice Marathon. That is the marathon that happens at Union Glacier just a couple of days before the trip that TFE took down there, and the one that Roger is intending to go on. Run Boston Bear has an astounding $136 raised of his $22,000 target. So again, dig deep. These two guys have about 5 months to make a $5,000 deposit on their trips, or they won't be going. Incidentally, Roger keeps telling us that he's going to photograph the sun for 24 hours, or see what the sun does in 24 hours on the solstice when he's down there between December the 14th and December the 18th. I've tried many times to convince Roger that the solstice is on the 21st of December. He doesn't seem to want to listen. So indeed, data speeds here are pretty terrible. Everyone knows that 99% of the internet goes on undersea cables, and the remainder is on towers. Now, as you can see over in the distance here, there are absolutely no hills, no possibility of there being any towers to transmit phone signal and data on. So the fact that I'm getting a phone signal here says something that they are doing something incredible to simulate a phone network here. And so to my observations of the Northern Hemisphere. Well, on the way over here, there was something I was expecting. Now, if the Earth is a globe, we all know that there is an equatorial bulge of about 30 kilometres in the middle. And on top of the plane dipping its nose to follow the curve around, it would have to dip its nose sharply to get over that bulge in the middle at the equator. Now, I didn't feel any of that during my flight. I also was looking out the window at about the time I was expecting it, expecting to see the equator going across the ocean. And now neither of those two things happened. So at this moment, I'd say those are two data points that count against the globe. And so what have I seen when I come here? Well, observations of the sun, and that was one of the clearest differences supposedly on the globe between the northern and southern hemisphere. Now, as you can see out there at the moment though, very, very cloudy. The CIA, FBI, NASA, Mossad and the Girl Guides have been out heavily spraying for the time that I've been here, spraying the sky, so I can't really see the sun clearly. So that way I can't record and can't spread the truth of our realm here. But I can roughly see where the sun is at the moment, and if I take out my compass, now I have a northern hemisphere compass and a southern hemisphere compass, and if I just take one out now and I look at the sun, it is at about 122 degrees southeast. So that's about 4 degrees off it where it should be, at 185 degrees south. Definitely 185 degrees south. I've made sure there is no concrete here. There are lots of floodlights down there. They may be confusing me, but the sun is definitely at 210 degrees southwest. Definitely that. Absolutely, it is certainly at 90 degrees east. That is exactly where it is. So we have a little problem here. The sun is supposed in the northern hemisphere to move from the left to the right during the day. Now, I have witnessed that myself, but of course I'm upside down, so it appears that it's going from the right to the left, so I can't really make any conclusions about that. But the locals here tell me it does go from the left to the right, from the east to the west. And so I have a solution for them. Just simply face your back to the sun, and it will again go from your right to your left like it is supposed to. So again, something that is inconclusive. We can't say one way or the other, whether it's globe or flat earth, with the movement of the sun. Hi, Andrew from the future, just briefly interrupting here because I didn't talk about the path of the sun. This morning I saw the sun coming towards me from this direction. Now I'm not sure whether it was over this mountain or behind this mountain. I will have to get Dave McKeegan's judgment on that one. But now that we're well into the afternoon and the sun is over here somewhere and heading sideways, in a couple of hours I'll be able to tell you whether or not the sun continues to move sideways and around our realm like is predicted on the flat earth, or whether it ends up cincing behind these mountains over here. So anyway, back to my presentation. My compasses again. Now I did get some directions off them just then, but I have noticed that they produce all sorts of crazy different things all the time, and in fact I've got a solution to that too. Now, because everyone knows that the sun is always at the north during the middle of the day. That is absolutely always the case all the time. But here they tell me it's to the south. And so using my compass, and I'm finding that, well, there's a solution to that. Simple, you've just got to turn your compass over. Thank you, Jaron. And now the sun is to the north like it should be. So yeah, the compasses can't really make any conclusions about that because they are acting a bit up. That is proof again that the magnetics in the northern hemisphere are a little bit crazy and can't be trusted. Later today I will go down there and find a convenience store and see if I can buy a gyro compass and perhaps get some better readings, some more consistent readings off that. Now the other thing to note is that as Jaron has told us 1,000 times, we're looking at here, we see the sun at the highest point in the sky, and back over this way the sun goes around and is the lowest point in the sky. And if we go towards the lowest point in the sky, we will eventually reach the North Pole. Now, I'm not sure that's the ceremonial pole or the geographic pole. It's certainly the pole that they placed there. So starting tomorrow, I will start that journey. I will walk towards the sun every day as much as I can see it. It's a little bit over 6,000 kilometers to the North Pole, so that's going to take me a couple of days till I get that data back to you. And from the daytime sky to the nighttime sky. Now, weirdly, I look at the nighttime sky away from where the sun is at noon, and I look at that area at night, and the stars appear to be going anti-clockwise. Now, everyone knows these stars only go from east to west, and they always rotate clockwise. So the solution to that is, just like the sun, is put my back to it, and they again start rotating clockwise like they should. Now, there also the issue is that the stars around the celestial pole up here look different, but clearly they are the same stars that I see in the south, except they have been shifted and reflected off the dome. Now the dome is a bit weird, as sometimes some of the stars have moved into different locations and they're at different brightnesses, but that is just some more data points that telling us about the behavior of the dome, and perhaps we'll be able to one day work out what the dome is made of and what it actually does. So interestingly, in the southern hemisphere, we all know that there is no bright stars. There is a star called Sigma Octantis that's fairly faint. There is a bright star near the celestial pole up here, so that is definitely Sigma Octantis, being moved to a slightly different location and being magnified by the dome reflection. I'm pretty sure that that's what's happening. So again, inconclusive about flat Earth or the globe on that one. Right, and one of the other things that I thought to test here is Coriolis. Now, everyone knows that everyone who lives in the southern hemisphere, which is most of the world's population, as you move, Coriolis will turn you to your left. Now, from the moment we are born, we start developing an innate ability to counteract that by leaning slightly to the right, so that we can eventually actually just walk straight. And by the time that we're about 1 year old and we are starting to walk, we are able to walk in a straight line, partly by the indoctrination of our parents who force us to walk a straight line, lest we fall over due to Coriolis. Now, here in the northern hemisphere, according to the globe, the Coriolis goes the other way, and my innate leaning to the right should add to the Coriolis, which deviates me to the right. So when I walk along, I should be going noticeably to the right. Now, I haven't noticed that yet, So I think that's something that goes against the globe. So it's clearly the case that Coriolis doesn't exist. I didn't test it on the way over. On the way back, I should test Coriolis on the aeroplane. We should find that it's banking to the left as it approaches the equator, and when it goes over that hump and I get that weightlessness feeling, it should start banking to the right to show that it's in the southern hemisphere. Now, if that doesn't happen this time, then I think it's pretty conclusive that the Earth is not a spinning, flying, tilting, wobbling space testicle. So I think I've got some good data on that. And the last thing that I've been testing here is the flushing of toilets. Now, we all know that toilets flush clockwise, and it's a bit of a myth that in the northern hemisphere they are supposed to go anti-clockwise. Now, that's a globe myth. So I've tested that out, and I have noticed that indeed the toilets are flushing anti-clockwise. So there's again two reasons for that. One, well, it could be the globe, or two, the other explanation I've got. Now, people are probably aware that Japanese toilet technology is far more advanced than the rest of the world, and there's a good possibility that within their toilets they have a Van de Graaff generator that is able to generate an electromagnetic field that counteracts the electromagnetic field of the Earth that's causing the clockwise rotation and forcing it to go anti-clockwise to give the appearance that you're on the globe. Now, from my calculations, it will take about 1.21 gigawatts to do that for every flush. And given that flux capacitors are in short supply at the moment, I believe that they only flush the globe direction when there is a southern hemisphere person using the toilet. And for the locals here who are all in on the lie, it just flushes the normal way and saves energy. So my next project is to peer through bathroom windows and watch people flushing the toilet when the toilet doesn't know that I'm using it. I'll also be starting up a GoFundMe for the inevitable legal defense that I'm going to need to support myself after that experiment. But the truth has no price, so please give generously to that legal fund. Okay, so that's about it. The summary is I've got some data which could point either way. As Whitsitt said, these are just data points that are helping us determine the true nature of our realm. So no conclusions for this, but I will keep doing more experiments. So let's just fix this back to normal to finish off. There we go. That feels much better for me. That's what she said. And as I am feeling the serenity descending off Daimonji, please like, share and subscribe. Leave a comment below. And as they say in Japan, Furefusawa Usawatsuku Hitsuyo Garu.